morning, Bucknutters. It is Thursday, April 23rd, 2015. I am Dan Rubin. This is the Bucknuts Morning 5 Plus, joined as always on Thursdays by Steve Wiltfong, Director of Recruiting for 24/7 Sports. Steve, how are you this morning?
Good morning, Daniel.
Bringing the fire. Okay. You had a story yesterday, which was probably going to be frequent flyer miles on the BM5 for Brendan Ferns, but this is the recruitment we followed the most steadfastly here. Kind of bring us up to date. I know there's been trouble. He's such a busy guy getting him on campus. Where do things stand as of now?
Well, Brendan's trying to visit next weekend again. He's had a couple trips fall through with his own schedule, with family coming in town for a holiday one weekend, and I think he had a test another weekend, or just hasn't been able to get back to Ohio State. But I actually was getting to the point where I was starting to wonder if Ferns would end up at Ohio State, the nation's #1 ranked inside linebacker, according to 24/7 Sports. But I now still feel really good about my crystal ball. Now, I'm not saying Ferns is a lock by any stretch. He hasn't committed to Ohio State yet, as everyone knows. And so there's some reasons why he hasn't committed. And so he's still working through that. But I think that they can find the answers, and he can end up at Ohio State. One thing I think that this will be decided quickly. I think that we could see Ferns be part of Ohio State's class here real soon, or I think we'll know if Ohio State's in the picture moving forward. But I think you got 3 teams in play: Ohio State, Penn State, and West Virginia. I mean, if he doesn't end up at Ohio State, I think he's going to end up at Penn State. But right now, I'm sticking with Ohio State after talking to people yesterday. Chris Ash is in the school today, I believe, to see Ferns, and the family absolutely loves Coach Ash and the way that he's gone about recruiting them, and they like Coach Fickle as well. So, and Ohio State's the team Brendan grew up rooting for. I mean, he grew up a Buckeye. I don't think people have talked about that much, but that was the program that he, wanted to play for as a kid, and now he has an opportunity to play anywhere he wants. Ohio State is certainly at the top of his list as of today, in my opinion. But he's not close to making. He's got to get some questions answered before he pulls the trigger. But I like where Ohio State stands right now.
Yeah, really not surprising. This is a family that's been through the process before, and Brendan Ferns has no one-trick pony. This guy's the valedictorian of his high school class and has some serious after-football aspirations. So it's not surprising he's taking his time with it. Let's just hope he makes the right decision.
I'm glad you brought that up, the valedictorian part. His football goals are only half of his goals in college. A lot of these guys. And I'm sure, and there's no question he wants to play on Sundays as much as anybody else. But, yeah, he is a valedictorian. He's got some goals that he wants to accomplish in his academia life and as a professional outside of football. So those are some things that he's still digging into on the Ohio State end and seeing if it's a fit for him academically.
He's certainly academically further down the road than a future website publisher. Another big name that keeps coming up, big name, big dude, Greg Little out of Texas, top-rated offensive lineman in the country, and is committed to Texas A&M, but has been talking about Ohio State a lot. Do you really think they have a chance to get someone like Little into the mix?
Well, Bill Kierlick, Bucknuts Insider, has had Greg Little visiting over the summer a couple times. Greg has told him that he plans to visit, and so for me, I'll wait till he gets a date on the calendar. I think that Ohio State's in the mix for pretty much anyone they want to be in the mix for, but they can't sign 100 guys, and not everybody's going to ultimately choose Ohio State. I'd be surprised if they landed Greg Little, but we'll see. We can talk about that more when he gets a visit on the calendar. He's got to get to Columbus first. I'm sure he'll like it. How can you not like what Ed Warner has done at that position? There'll be a lot of intriguing things for Greg Little if he does make it to campus, but the young man, I mean, summer is pretty vague. I don't even know when summer exactly starts or ends. So when a young man says summer, that just gives him an open. I plan to visit in the summer. All right, we'll see. We'll see when you get here, my friend.
Another name we talked about a lot that now at one point in time I really thought he'd be part of the class, and it seems like other names have pulled in front. That's Justin Layne, the receiver out of Benedictine, Jerome Baker's former high school teammate. it now seems like he could end up being in green and white.
Yeah, Dan, we've been talking about that for a while. Michigan State's been my crystal ball for a long time here for Justin Layne. No school is recruiting him harder. He is an absolute top-of-the-board guy for Mark D'Antonio and his staff. Ohio State likes Justin Layne, too. Ohio State's also, has a lot of talented receivers looking at them. Austin Mack, I have in Ohio State's class when he announces in June. Benjamin Victor is a guy that Ohio State is definitely in the mix for. Nate Craig's a guy Ohio State's pushing to get an official visit from. Donnie Corley, Ohio State's in the top 2 or 3 for him. Michigan State is as well. So there's a lot of blue chip top 100 receivers on the board for Michigan or for Ohio State right now.
Steve, I'd be remiss if I didn't get some commentary on you from last weekend. Ohio State hosted its spring game, and it was a signing extravaganza. Were you surprised by anything that happened last weekend?
How could you not be surprised about Tuf Borland? I think Ohio State was surprised. Now, they were working it. Coach Ash and Coach Fickle, those guys are busting their butts to recruit Tuf Borland, and they got him to campus 3 times, but I think they thought they were playing from behind the whole time. And so when he committed, it was a pleasant surprise. And an outstanding get for Ohio State. Just shows you the recruiting prowess and the time and effort they put in on these young guys to connect with them and get them to believe in Ohio State and believe that that's the best place for their future. So Tuf Borland, a Wisconsin legacy, going to be a Buckeye. And if he goes on to have a great career at Ohio State, it's just with the Wisconsin faithful will be devastated. So that was the surprise. The other 4 guys that committed, no surprise, but that certainly doesn't take away from the excitement. Jack Wollaball is an explosive offensive lineman, an interior guy that jumped on his opportunity when it was extended to him. And then the 4-star defensive tackle, Malik Barrows, an athletic guy that can do some things across your front. So that was a good get for Ohio State as they passed Ole Miss and moved up to number 3 in the 24/7 Sports National Recruiting Rankings. Then in 2017, the Buckeyes are obviously running away with that recruiting championship right now. 6 commits, all 6 ranked in the top 247. 2 of them are 5 stars already. 2 more over the weekend, 2 in-state guys. It was a foregone conclusion that they were going to be Buckeyes when Ohio State offered them, but still guys that you want to have. Top 100 corner Marcus Williamson, top 247 running back Todd Sibley. So running back as what Ohio State is turning into, adds another fantastic back.
No doubt. It was an impressive haul. Steve, we appreciate your joining us. We'll see you next Thursday.
Thanks, Dan.